Rising from the banks of the Perfume River, Huế Imperial City stands as Vietnam's forbidden citadel, a fortress of emperors, dynasties, and secrets that shaped a nation. The conditions in Huế were as unforgiving as its history. Under a leaden sky, and with our principal photographer battling illness, the imperial city revealed a more somber, perhaps more honest face. What follows is a document of that atmosphere, a fever dream of the Nguyen dynasty. Today we are once again following a group of tourists from Malaysia. They traveled nearly 3 hours from Hoi An to reach this location. They will enter the imperial city from the southeastern side, where they will pass through the Tuong Tu Gate. Built in the early 19th century by the Nguyen dynasty, Huế Imperial City served as the center of imperial power, featuring walls, moats, and palaces that embodied authority and tradition. Within its courtyards, emperors ruled, rituals took place, and temples honored ancestral memory. Though it has been scarred by war and the passage of time, ongoing restoration efforts are revitalizing its halls. Today, Huế Imperial City stands as a living monument, a place where history and heritage converge, telling the story of Vietnam's past. Four of the 9 sacred cannons are located here. The remaining 5 are situated on the other side of the city, near the Quang Duc Gate, facing each other.
Okay, so we're already inside the first layer. So this one we call it like the Royal Palace. 1804 until nowadays. As you can see right over there, that's going to be the second layer.
The Tuong Tu Gate is viewed from the city's first layer. They mentioned that we can walk atop the wall, similar to the Great Wall of China.
So now we walk this way.
Emperor Gia Long, born Nguyen Phuc Anh, was the founder of Vietnam's last imperial dynasty. After years of civil war, he unified the nation in 1802 and established Huế as his capital. To secure his rule, he commissioned the imperial city, a citadel of walls, moats, and palaces, aligned with feng shui principles, symbolizing harmony between power and nature. Gia Long's reign marked the beginning of the Nguyen dynasty, which would endure for more than a century. His vision left a lasting imprint on Vietnam's political and cultural landscape, and the outer walls of Huế Imperial City still stand today as a monument to his ambition and legacy. Another gate to the inner layer. Unlike the outer layer gates, this one is massive and called the Meridian Gate. The tour guide asks them to go farther while he buys the entrance tickets. They are now in front of the gate.
They don't understand Mandarin, right? Okay, guys. All right, now we go inside. Yeah, go inside the gate, guys.
Standing at the southern edge of Huế Imperial City, the Meridian Gate, Ngo Mon, is the grandest of all entrances. Built in 1833 under Emperor Minh Mang, it was more than a gateway. It was a stage for imperial ceremony. Its massive stone base is pierced by 5 arches, while above rises the 5 Phoenix Tower, where proclamations were read and victories announced. From this vantage, soldiers assembled, banners unfurled, and the rhythm of dynastic life unfolded. Though scarred by war and time, the Meridian Gate endures as the symbolic threshold to Hué's forbidden citadel, a place where authority, ritual, and history converge. Here, hierarchy was built into stone. The central arch was reserved for the emperor alone, while the 2 flanking lanes carried members of the royal family and high-ranking mandarins. The outermost passages were for soldiers, officials, and common visitors. Every step through the gate reinforced the order of the new Hien court, reminding all who entered that power flowed from the center. Today, these tourists are fortunate to access the royal lane.
Okay, we're already in the second layer. This is about Imperial City. So now we take some pictures right here. In Vietnam, you can see the apricot flowers represent for the spring. And just a few more weeks, it's gonna be the Lunar New Year. So now you can see they're gonna put lots of apricot. You can look at the lake, it's a lot of tea. It's a toy pig.
The First Indo-China War erupted in 1946 as Vietnamese forces under Ho Chi Minh rose against French colonial rule. For nearly a decade, villages and rice fields became battlegrounds until the decisive victory at Dien Bien Phu in 1954 forced France to withdraw. But peace was fragile. The Geneva Accords divided Vietnam at the 17th parallel, north under communist leadership, south backed by Western allies. That partition lit the fuse for the Vietnam War, while Laos and Cambodia were pulled into the conflict, scarred by bombings and civil wars. From colonial resistance to Cold War rivalry, the Indo-China War reshaped Southeast Asia and set the stage for one of the most devastating conflicts of the 20th century. In case you haven't noticed, the bullet holes remain visible on the wall to the left. The gate to the Hien Lam Pavilion, dedicated to the founder of the Nguyen dynasty.
Okay, I can take some pictures. By the meantime, we wait for some of your friends. Yeah, get some. Yes. So you look around, you don't really see any taller building than this. So first, for the security, in case an assassination to the emperor, and the second reason is about the respect. Yes, this is the house of the king. So house of the king gotta be the tallest, gotta be the biggest. No matter how rich you are, you have to build your houses smaller and you see shorter than the palaces of the king. So now we go further, I tell you more. It's about the royal temple.
In Imperial Huế, architecture was more than shelter. It was a reflection of hierarchy. the Nguyen dynasty decreed that no house could rise higher or extend farther than the royal palace. This rule preserved the palace's dominance on the skyline, ensuring that imperial authority was visible from every corner of the city. The restriction was rooted in Confucian ideals of order and respect. By keeping common dwellings modest, the palace remained the unrivaled symbol of power, while the city itself mirrored the social structure of the dynasty. For the people of Huế, these limits were not just laws of construction, but reminders that every brick and beam existed beneath the shadow of imperial rule. Tucked within Hué's imperial city stands the Tet Temple, a sanctuary dedicated to honoring the Nguyen emperors. Built in the 19th century, it served as a solemn hall where ancestral tablets were enshrined, and rituals reinforced the dynasty's spiritual authority. Here, incense smoke rose with prayers, linking rulers to their ancestors and affirming the continuity of imperial power. The Tet Temple remains a quiet witness to the traditions that bound faith, family, and monarchy in Vietnam's past.
There are so many carvings. It's about like the beautiful things of my country. So on each urn, it's gonna be about like 17 pictures. Yeah, 9 urns in total, so quite a lot. So you go inside, take some pictures, or walk around here for a while.
Unfortunately, filming is not permitted inside the temple. Fortunately, this allowed our ailing principal photographer to take a 15-minute rest.
Right there on the left, 115. UMC.
By the late 19th century, the Nguyen dynasty's authority was eroded by French colonial expansion. Emperors became figureheads, their sovereignty overshadowed by foreign rule. Nationalist movements surged in the early 20th century, demanding independence and reform. In 1945, amid the collapse of Japanese occupation and the rise of the Viet Minh, Emperor Bao Dai, the last Nguyen ruler, abdicated the throne. With that act, more than a century of imperial rule ended. The dynasty's fall marked Vietnam's transition from monarchy to revolution, setting the stage for decades of struggle and transformation. The Vietnam War scarred Vietnam for 2 decades, dividing North and South and drawing in global powers. Cities, jungles, and villages became battlefields, and the Tet Offensive of 1968 shocked the world, eroding American confidence in the conflict. Yet amid the destruction, Huế Imperial City and My Son Sanctuary stood as symbols of heritage. British and American forces recognized their cultural value and tried to limit bombardment. But war is never precise. Hué's citadel was battered during the fighting, and My Son's ancient Cham temples suffered from air raids. Despite the damage, both sites endure. Their ruins and restorations remind us that even in war, history was worth saving, and Vietnam's identity survived the fire. In the 1990s, surveys revealed that Huế Imperial City's wooden halls were under siege. Termites had hollowed beams and columns, threatening collapse. The infestation scarred monuments, but it also sparked urgent action. International teams joined Vietnamese conservators, dismantling structures, treating timber, and rebuilding with care. Today, the restored citadel stands resilient, Its courtyards and gates remind us that heritage can survive both war and decay. As the sun sets over Huế, the imperial city whispers a timeless truth, that history endures when we choose to protect it.